we do a lot of PC interface stuff. So if you're reading about the interface, there are uniquenesses to how we handle it on the PC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Another question, just as I'm kind of scrolling through our pages here, that a couple people asked about, that is something I'd be curious about your thoughts on too, is your philosophy towards achievements and trophies. What do you think about those systems, and how do you want them to work in Skyrim?
I mean, we love them. We definitely do them with all of our games, and I think our general approach is to have a mix. If you look at the mix in Fallout 3 between specific quests and leveling or collection achievements, that kind of balance was pretty good. We have to do it differently this time because we have a lot more quests. So we like to have a balance of specific quests that are important, or quest lines, and then just general gameplay stuff. Get to this level, collect X gold, do this. So we like to have a nice mix of that stuff.
Cool. Well, I think I know the answer to this question, but just so that we kind of get it out there on the record, is there any chance that you guys are going to do Kinect support, Move support, 3D, any of that kind of stuff, any of these sort of new emerging technologies connected to Skyrim?
There's a quote, was the movie Dumb and Dumber, where he goes, "So you're saying there's a chance?" I guess there's a chance. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But both of those systems, 3D, I would be surprised. Both Kinect and Move, they're fairly new systems as of last year. And you look at something like the Kinect, Microsoft's still updating what it can do, how it handles things, how the libraries work. Same with Move. So there might be something that we end up doing that we think fits. But it would at this point it would surprise me, because we do want to keep our focus on the main game.
Got it.
So.
Got it. This was another thing that I remember you talking a little bit about, and we talked a little bit about in the article, but just to hear it from you, that when you start off with your character, he doesn't know that he's Dragonborn. Is that right?
Correct.
And so that's sort of. Can you tell us a little bit about like what's going on there? That is occurring in the game, and like how that comes about.
I don't want to spoil it too much.
Yeah.
But he does find out. There's an event that happens with a dragon where you find out you're Dragonborn. And I think for anybody listening, it won't matter, because they know. It's one of those marketing things. You say, well, we're going to, what percentage of the audience who puts the game in knows I'm Dragonborn
right
before they press play? It's probably going to be pretty high.
Sure.
We try not to take that into account, so it still feels right in the game. But I don't necessarily want to spoil it. I may have told you when you were here, Matt.
Sure.
Did I?
You talked a little bit about it. There were a couple things that I think you had said, like, this is kind of the direction we're going. We don't want to go into a whole lot of detail about it, and there was so much other great info that we had that we were trying to get into the that I was trying to get into the article that.
I'd like to kind of keep it a secret, but there is an event that happens, and you find out.
Right.
And then the Greybeards. Well, this I'll say because it's kind of cool. The Greybeards, the guys who live up on the throat of the world, who are the masters of the voice.
Right.
When they find out about this fairly quickly, and they shout your name, so they shout Dovahkiin to the wind, and it kind of rumbles through the world. It's like the mountain shake when they call you, and you think to yourself, "What was that?" Someone said that was the Greybeards calling you to walk the 7,000 steps up the throat of the world to meet them.
Right. Which you said you promised me you're going to have 7,000
cool.
steps, right?
I have been promised 7,000 steps, and I'm going to count them. Yes. Our world artists are amazing. We have just an amazing team, and they put so much detail in the world. So they didn't blink when I said it must have 7,000 steps.
Sure.
And I was like, who's going to count? Now I've like challenged everybody to count.
Somebody
I've
will
been
count.
told.
You know that now, especially now that we're talking about
I
it.
expect them to, yes.
There's going to be people who sit there for 5 hours one day, and just go through and.
My view is, if you look at all the stuff we have in the world, 7,000 steps is not significantly, it's not that hard.
Right.
Todd, I think we have one more question for you.
Okay.
We've obviously kept you very long here. We've probably delayed the
it's
game
not a
a day. So it's now 11:12:11. We can announce that here.
Yeah. There was one more. We're for not picking the ones that people asked. I'm sure we'll get crucified for a few days coming up here. But one other thing that people were kind of curious about that I did want to have you kind of clarify for them in case we didn't make a good case for it in the article or anything like that, was to explain how kind of the leveling system works, and particularly in relation to like the maximum level, and what your philosophy is towards that. How long can you level in the game? When does it become basically impossible to continue leveling? That kind of thing.
I would say to people it works like Oblivion, where we don't code in a maximum level. There is a theoretical maximum depending on what your skills are. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the one change we've made is that you level faster. We sort of balance Oblivion and Fallout 3 in some respects to like a 1 to 25, 1 to 30. So people who play it, if they play for a long time, that's the kind of high level with creatures and whatever. This one is balanced like 1 to 50, but that isn't longer in gameplay. That is, you do level faster, a lot faster, particularly in the beginning of the game.
Okay.
Because of the way we're handling perks, because a lot of the power is in the perks, we wanted to be giving them out, at a higher rate when you're playing. So we do talk about this as a 1 to 50 game. But I mean, I'd have to go once we play it more. The actual like maximum, depending on your particular character, how it works out, might be 75. You know what I mean? It might be 75. I don't really know.
Yeah.
We don't. I'm just saying we don't code in. This is the maximum level.
Right.
It'll end up whatever it ends up.
Well, I liked when I was talking with you about it once before, your explanation of the fact that you've got these perks now that you're choosing, and it's kind of one of the big things that you're kind of that's sort of allowing you to shape your own character. And as far as you guys were concerned, it's more fun to have more perks, right? And so like in those early levels, to get through those.
It's the thing you're always shooting for.
Right.
So if you design your game, say 1 to 25 levels.
Yeah.
And obviously it slows down. Even 1 to 50, it slows down a lot as you play. And you assume there's 200 hours of content. Well, you can sort of figure out, like, how often do I get to level?
Yeah.
And we think we can balance that with the perks. Well, that's what happened. We did the perks and then figured out quickly, well, to make these work, we need to be leveling faster. And it is more fun.
Got it. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that covers as many bases as I think we probably are going to be able to. I know there's lots of things in there that remain unanswered, but undoubtedly the bright side of that equation is that like the longest anybody's going to have to wait to get their answers is what at this point 8, 9 months, I guess. 9 months.
It's still a long time. Yeah.
It's still a long time, but they've got a concrete end of the line.
Exactly.
It sounds like that they're going to get their answers.
And with this time, with doing it, we can sort of, tell everybody, we do have a nice slate of when we're going to be releasing what kind of information, and we want to kind of keep it, since it is compressed this time for us, to the 9 months, whatever it is from now, we can do it at a pretty good rate and be getting lots of new information out there.
There are some people who are pretty excited to see gameplay of this game. You know that, right?
Yeah, and it's not too far off. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, hopefully we'll get a little of that on GameInformer.com in video form.
Definitely.
Soon. Well, thanks a lot, Todd. We really appreciate your time and everything that you guys have done for us in terms of all our web content, and people have really enjoyed it. The hits have been through the roof. So, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks that you've done for us. Honestly, it's you always want your game shown in the best light and go through a great filter, and you guys knocked it out of the park. And to all our fans on our forums and your guys' site, it's really exciting for us too. to have it out there and talk about what we're working on. It just fuels. You can just tell the energy in the studio has gone up a lot on the game.
Well, that's great to hear.
Absolutely, and again, thanks to all the readers that submitted questions. I know that we didn't have time to get to everyone's questions. We tried to sort of consolidate them into some of the broader topics so as to cover as many people's concerns as possible, but with the sheer sort of volume of responses we got, it just wasn't possible. But that's also, once again, I think an indication of how excited people are and the level of enthusiasm there is for Skyrim, which is obviously very high. So thanks again, and it's been nice talking to you, Todd.
Thanks.
We will be back next week with a regular edition of the Game Informer show, and we will see you then.